Good morning. Hello, good morning. I'll go ahead and put Instagram over here. All right, let me shut my door. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for everyone who's up super early to hang out with me. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm gonna give a couple of extra minutes for folks to roll in who wanted to join in and get another update. I was on Saturday, had a lot of folks join us again today. You guys are rolling in nice and early. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We've got YouTube up. We've got Facebook over here, and we've got Instagram right here. So I want to be able to answer any questions to the best of my ability, give an update on things that we were, the changes from last week, make sure we're all on the same page. Everybody has all the information that is available. There might be more questions that are unanswered this morning. We need to be okay with that. I think we've all gotten used to that. So good morning as you're rolling in. It's a pleasure to see you, and I'm so grateful that you joined me today. If you have questions, you can go ahead and start loading them on YouTube. You can join the live chat, add a question if you'd like. If you are on Facebook, start throwing in your questions if you'd like, and then of course Instagram as well. So good morning, buenos dias. See. And then at 7 o'clock, I'll just share a little bit of information and the information that has been shared and just what some of our next steps are, because I don't have all the answers, and then we'll go with your questions that you throw in the comments on Facebook and Instagram and in the chat for YouTube. All right, I've got 7 o'clock. Let's rock and roll. So we learned last week that we would begin to return to 5 days in person. So what this means immediately for us is beginning on February 1st, everything will be 5 days a week. So for our cohort 1 students who are currently coming to school and they will continue to come to school, they'll go to 5 days a week. For our cohort 3 students, those are our students who attend Tech Center. They will begin in person at Tech Center only 5 days a week, which means they'll be going every other day, because at Tech Center, the students are structured odd day Tech Center or even day Tech Center. Of course, the day they don't have Tech Center, they will be virtual. Students will start Tech Center on their Tech Center day in person early enough to be able to tune in to their first period class virtually from the Tech Center. The Wednesday has now gone away. Starting February 1st, we still have today as an asynchronous Wednesday with a seminar check-in. I'll talk about next week because next week's schedule is a little wonky. But starting February 1st, the asynchronous Wednesday is going away, and instead we will have classes. So we will attend even days and odd days without an asynchronous Wednesday. Cohort 4 will remain virtual until further notice. We'll learn more on February 9th when the school board reconvenes for the next time to talk about what the next steps are for cohort 4. I do not have a timeline. I do not have a return date. I don't even have an inclination to be able to even speculate. So I won't. I just know that we're virtual until we learn more. When it is time to return in person, it will be for 5 days a week. So the families will be able to decide if they want to stay virtual 5 days a week or if they want to return in person 5 days a week. There won't be the hybrid that we had before where we split the alpha A to K and L to Z. That's not a thing. It will be 5 days a week, either in-person instruction or virtual instruction. So that's what we've learned. That was the new information. The other piece involving next week, the schedule is wonky and crazy. I have communicated to parents. Our teachers are beginning to communicate with students as requested every single day on social media. I will update to make sure students know where they're supposed to go, because next week, for the 5 days, Monday will be an odd day because it's the 25th, all is normal. On the 26th, which is Tuesday, that will be an asynchronous day for students, but we will not have a seminar whole group check-in at 11. On that day, cohort 1 students will come to school like they normally do. So that's not a change for cohort 1. And we have 128 juniors who are actually coming into the building to take the PSAT. That's why we have that asynchronous day. On Wednesday, the 27th, that will actually be an even day of classes for students. It will be an asynchronous Wednesday for our cohort 1 students. Thursday will be an even day because that is January 28th, and it will be an even day. And the 29th will be a fully asynchronous day. Remember, originally on the calendar, that was going to be a half day of instruction and a half day of teacher work day. It is now going to be a full teacher work day and a full asynchronous day for students. No seminar check-in on next Friday. So more to come. I'll make sure that I'm continuously communicating what the schedule is for next week. It is definitely wonky and definitely a lot of moving parts, but we'll be all right. We've gotten used to wonky. We've gotten used to lots of moving parts, and we've definitely gotten used to being responsive to change. So that's the new information. That's what we have. I've seen some questions rolling in. I'm going to go to Instagram first, and then I'll hop back over to Facebook. I don't see a question loaded in YouTube just yet. So how do I know which cohort my child is in? So if your child is in cohort 1, you would know that that's our level 2 self-contained students. They've been coming to school all along. They never stopped in person. If your child goes to Tech Center, they are cohort 3. And if your child is neither one of those two things, then you're cohort 4. Now, I'm on Instagram, and this is, I'm guessing, Amity Woman of God, maybe, handle on Instagram. That's if your child is a high schooler. If your child is in elementary school, they're either cohort 2 or cohort 3, depending on their grade level. If you need to know specifics, you can send me an email and I'll let you definitely know for sure which cohort your child is in. But all right, Lexi, so we go to school next week. Virtual, Lexi, yes. We're not in person just yet, Lexi. Hey, Brooke, good morning. I need to read my emails. Anissa, thank you. Yes, you're welcome. All right, looking like, yes, 10th grade. So 10th grade non-tech center would be cohort 4. So we're in a holding pattern. We're 5 days virtual starting February 1st. We do have virtual school continuing. Everything is on pace. Next week, the schedule is just a little bit wonky, but we still have school next week. Beginning February 1st, the change for our students who are virtual, our cohort 4 students, the change is that we're going to 5 days a week. Okay, swim meet today, Dr. Jones. Yep, Lexi, I know. I'm going to try to make it out. I've got a jam-packed day today. I'll try to be there, but I'm not going to promise. But I'm definitely going to try. If I'm not there, definitely good luck. Swim fast. All right, I'm going to hop over to Facebook. I got one question in here. Neely Hasib, virtual is still an option for students or not? Yes, virtual is still an option. Because we don't have a timeline and we don't have a return date, I have not asked our families to make that decision. So once it's time for you to decide whether you want your child to remain virtual or do 5 days in person, I'll reach out to get that information from you. If what's in your parent view or your child's student view is what you want, then you won't have to really contact us. If your child is in there as virtual and you want your child to stay virtual, then there will be no change. I'm back and forth on whether I want everyone to respond to another survey, because I get it, or if I just want, hey, I just need the changes of what the status is, because we have to know and we have to prepare, as we discussed way back in the fall. We have to know and we have to prepare for who's coming in person. All right, let's keep looking for the best solutions. Chuck Allen 2022. Let's keep looking for the best solutions. I agree. Absolutely. All right. Good morning. Good morning. For those of you who are rolling in and joining me, thank you so much. It's wicked early. The sun is still not out, and it's cold outside, and it would be very easy to stay in bed and stay tucked under the covers. If you're like me, you get up early, you get that workout in, get cleaned up and ready for the day. And so I'm excited that you joined me. We've got looks like right now we've got 11 on Instagram, 18 on Facebook, and 1 on YouTube. To my 1 on YouTube, thanks for being a trooper and good morning. All right. All right. Good morning to everyone rolling in and joining me this morning. If you need anything, you have any questions, comments, drop it in the comments on Facebook and Instagram, or in the live chat in YouTube. I'm here to answer any questions. I'm here to make sure that we're sharing all the information that I have. There are a lot of questions I don't have answered yet. There are a lot of things that I don't know and a lot of things that I'm unsure of, especially when it comes to what instruction will look like when it's time for us to return in person. I do have a focus group of teachers working on a feedback document that I asked them to have it in by today. I meet with a group of students. There were 23 students who expressed interest in serving in a focus group. We meet today at 1 o'clock. So I'm hoping to get feedback from students. And then I'm also going to pull a small group of parents together. I do have one parent who, when I discussed this on Saturday, reached out to me and said, hey, put me on that focus group. And so more to come on that. I of course have a lot on my plate, but I want to get feedback from our community about how to move forward with some of the changes and how to make it best for our school while upholding the standards and the expectations of our school division, of course. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've got some questions, start dropping them. You all always ask such great questions. You definitely keep me on my toes. You make sure that if there's something that I don't have answered that I need to look into, I always have my stickies and my pens ready to go, because inevitably there's always something that I'm walking away with, which is great, because that's how we get better and we improve. All right, Tina Carr on Facebook. Excuse me, is February 1st the return date to Thomasdale High School 5 days a week still the same? So Tina Carr, yes, February 1st, the entire school division is going to 5 days a week. For our cohort 1 and 3 students at Thomasdale, so remember, cohort 1 is our level 2 self-contained. They've been coming all along. They haven't stopped in person. And cohort 3 is our tech center students. They will be in person. Cohort 4 will remain virtual. But everybody in the division is going to 5 days a week, whether it's virtual 5 days a week, in person 5 days a week. Heather Hart on Facebook, if we choose to send child back and they have to be quarantined, can they still participate in school virtually? Heather Hart, yes. What it looks like, I'm not sure yet. If our school decides to try to do dual audience again, like we did in November, then it'll be same teacher, same schedule, same class. So that transition is going to be a whole lot easier. It's just we know how rough dual audience was and is on our teachers. It was just an overwhelming task. So that's what I'm gathering feedback on. That's one piece of feedback that I'm gathering before I can really define and describe what it's actually going to look like. But yes, absolutely, our children will not be punished because of if they have to be quarantined for any reason. So they'll still be able to participate. Absolutely. Teresa Barlow, our next year's class selections due now. Yes. Awesome. I think I sent it out to post 7 o'clock this morning. Our kids have 3 days. So today is the opening of the window, and then it closes on Friday at noon for our students to select their classes. So today, tomorrow, and Friday at noon is when we're kind of cutting that off. And what I'll say is, don't stress out if your child, if there's still some unknowns for your child, because every student at Thomasdale will have a one-on-one meeting with their counselor, where they'll make sure that the classes they selected are the right classes, are the best classes. Students who are, for whatever reason, unable to sign up over these next 3 days, or weren't sure on some electives, don't fear. The counselor is able to go in and manipulate that course request as well. So we want our kids to select their own. I mean, that's that's a pretty big deal. But if for whatever reason they cannot, or there are some things that they're unsure of, don't fear. Every kid will get a one-on-one with their counselor. Andy Martin, if we get a return date and we have to choose virtual or in person, do you know if that decision is binding for the remainder of the year, or is it too early to know? So what was communicated, Andy, is that it is binding through the end of the year. And I assume more information to come on that and what that is and what it looks like. But as of right now, the information that was shared was when you make that decision, it is binding for the end of until the end of the year. Deanna Castelvecchi, I gave you an extra vowel on there. I'm sorry. When they go 5 days a week, will the schedule adjust to add teacher office hours at the end of the day like we did before when we were 5 days? So Deanna Castelvecchi, the schedule as it is right now will remain the same. There's actually a really good chunk of time in the middle of the day. And then there is a chunk of time at the end of the day. I think fourth period ends at 2:40. So there actually is some built-in time for that. We don't. One thing that I wanted to remain consistent about was our daily schedule. So remember, we had a schedule at the beginning of the day. We changed it when it was time for hybrid. And then once we got a taste of hybrid, we planned for the adjustments to be made to the bell schedule so that we could stick with one, no matter how we were, whether it was in person, virtual, a hybrid, a back and forth. I'm not going to make the promise, but I'm committed to having that schedule as being locked in for the rest of the year so we don't have to keep flip-flopping with that bell schedule. So the bell schedule we're following now is going to be the bell schedule my plan is for the rest of the year. Kim Turner, when can students apply for Tech Center? My understanding is that there is a Tech Center Canvas course with information that's loaded in there. You can definitely reach out to your child's counselor to get that information if you don't have it. But my understanding is February 1st, all of February is the application timeline for the Tech Center. Christina Nickerson, my son was told that cameras will be mandatory starting third 9 weeks. Is this accurate? That's one of the questions that I'm getting feedback from our faculty and staff and students today to figure out the best way forward for that. It is going to be an expectation. It is something that the school division is asking that we have. We got that change from, and you heard it on the school board as well, if you were paying attention to that. There is a teacher direction at the teacher's direction as part of that. And then there's also a parent opt-out option for that mandatory camera expectation. I'm working with our people, our faculty and staff, and our students, and then I'll also have a small parent focus group on the best way to implement that and the best way to make that happen. Great questions. Keep them coming. I'm going to hop over here. I think I saw some things popping up on Instagram. Why are you up already, Mr. Jones? Blueberry limeade. I get up at about 4:30 every day. I get up. I work out, I get cleaned up for the day. And then I'm back in my office, usually around 6:30, getting a lot knocked out. It's advantageous for me. Number one, part of my lifestyle is to work out every day. I don't know if you would like me if I didn't work out every day, because I'm definitely a different version of myself if I don't get my AM workout. But then there's also this period of time in the morning from 6:30 till about 8, where I have kind of unencumbered time to really do the work that I need to do that doesn't require people to be around. So there's a lot that I get done before 8 o'clock, and it's definitely a necessary time for me, blueberry limeade. So sometimes some of it's because it's my lifestyle, and some of it's out of necessity. You're a machine. No, I'm not a machine. Blueberry limeade. All right. Keep the questions coming. You all ask great questions. I don't fall asleep until 5. And ooh, blueberry limeade, that is not healthy. I'm going to need you to adjust that. You got to get 8 hours between 7 and 9, especially right now. During this time of your life, you got to get that sleep knocked out. So that's my challenge to you, is to go to bed earlier and get some sleep. Nothing good is happening after 2 a.m. I promise you that. All right. Keep the questions coming. Any comments? I'm here for you. I'm going to share everything that I can and everything that I know. You know that I will. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. We got a couple more folks who tuned in. Thanks for tuning in this morning and joining me. We got some more folks on Facebook. We've been consistent with our numbers on IG. So just, trying to do everything that I can to update everyone. If you're tuning in late, I'll archive on all three platforms so you can see what I shared in the beginning. And now it's just about, Q&A, question and answer, sharing stories. And just, hanging out. If you're drinking your coffee this morning, I got my water going. So good morning to you. We can, enjoy a cup of Joe together. How has the last year changed your outlook on life? Woo! That's deep, Blueberry Limeade. I'll entertain that question while I'm waiting for some other questions to pop in. Woo! That's deep. I need some time to think about that. I think for me, things that I definitely took for granted, I don't anymore. Like the fact that, I'm in a fortunate position where I didn't lose my home. I'm in a fortunate position where we had the resources that we needed to survive the mandatory quarantine period back in the spring. I definitely appreciate the relationships that I have and how difficult it is to sustain them as a principal for our school with 2,400 students. I definitely felt a lot more connected when everything was in person. I don't feel as connected to you all. Mostly students tuned in on Instagram, but I don't feel as connected to our students in this virtual setting. That's a lot more difficult for me, but a lot's changed. Some of it stayed the same. The things that I believe deeply in and the values that I hold have stayed consistent. And I do believe that I've gained a greater appreciation for the things that I believe that I took for granted before COVID. So there we go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Heather Hart, is there an outbreak? If there is an outbreak, will closure be school-based or whole school division? That is something I don't know the full answer to. There is talk about, will it be classroom by classroom? Will it be school by school, or will it be a division-wide thing? Heather, I don't have the answer to that for once it's time, and I'm not even going to begin to guess or speculate. So I'm not quite sure yet. All right, Deanna Dickerson, when will baseball start? So baseball, I think the season for tryouts and practice for baseball, I want to say is early to mid-April. I think it's early to mid-April, and then the season will go from like the beginning of May through the end of June. Our spring sports are actually going to get a full season. Their season is going to go past the end of the school year. VHSL, Virginia High School League, it was important to them because spring lost their full season last year. They want to give them a full season this year, even though winter and fall this year are only 60% seasons. My child has asthma, so the mask gets difficult for him to deal with. I'm going to have him tested out and wear his all day at home as he would if he's in school. That would get me more of an idea if he can handle it or not, but it will only be so accurate for his day. If I try in-person school and it's an issue, would that allow me to put him back virtual? I know you can't tell us what to do, but it is something I have to consider. Yeah, so I mean, obviously things are case by case. And this is Taryn Davis on Facebook. I'm sorry. We have been, instructed, and this is what we learned last week, that the decision is binding. I do believe that there are always exceptions, and things can be case by case. We do have alternative options to a mask. If for a medical reason your child can't wear a mask, we can give him a shield to wear, and then we also have desk shields for in the classroom. So as we get closer and as we have a date, we can stay in contact. You can stay in contact with our nurse to develop a medical plan as needed for us to be able to make adjustments if we need to. Heather Hart, does the school have necessary cleaning supplies? How often will classrooms be cleaned between classes? So great question, Heather Hart. We are well prepared, just like we were when we came for the hybrid part in November. Cleaning supplies, we are stocked. We are good to go. And in between every class, the classes, the desks do get sanitized. And then after the lunch period, Rejuvenol is used. If you remember, Rejuvenol is like the COVID killer. So when our students eat with their mask off, once that period of time is done, then Rejuvenol gets sprayed. It has to sit for 10 minutes and then get wiped down after the 10-minute kill time. So we nailed everything that we had to do in person when we did this in November. Our school and our school division very strong with that. Heather Hart, will there be consequences for not wearing masks and not wearing correctly? So, yep, absolutely. Our students did a great job. You know, that was a concern when we were returning to hybrid. It was a concern of what we would do with students who refused to wear masks. Our students did a great job. There were only 1 or 2 students we had to do any type of redirection or correction on. Our students nailed it. They upheld the standard. They upheld the expectations. Like I said, if there's for a medical reason, we have that medical documented, and we have alternatives to masks in order to keep your child and all our faculty, staff, and students safe as well. Do you know when we will find out more about graduation details? As soon as I have those details, this is Christina Nickerson. I will definitely communicate. Right now, all I know is that it's the week of June 7th. The date, the time, the location, and the format, I still don't know. That is obviously up in the air. But the week of June 7th is when we will have our graduation. All right, coming over here to Instagram. All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm over on Instagram now, s.barb. I have a difficult time with this decision. I want my son to have peer and teacher interaction, but I'm also concerned for his safety. How are you dealing with your children returning? My children? Are you asking about my children or our students? So I'll answer both ways. As a principal of this school, we put safety for our in-person plan as the top priority. And you can ask our students, our parents, our teachers, our staff. We nailed keeping safety at the forefront, and we're going to continue to have that as the top priority. We had great procedures, a great plan. We executed. We made a small adjustment, and the small adjustment was just that we found out that we didn't need 15 minutes the way that we did transitions between classes, which is why we changed it to 10 minutes. But there's really no reason to change because we nailed it. For my own children, I have 4 kids. 2 will be returning to in-person and 2 will be returning or staying virtual. And that is only because those are the formats that work best for them. For my 2 in the middle, they're thriving in a virtual setting, so they're going to stay virtual. And for my oldest and my youngest, they need that in-person. They definitely benefit from it, so they're going to be in person. The 2 who are staying virtual, it's not at all because I'm concerned at anybody's safety. It's just that's what's working best for them. So for me, my own personal children, I've got 4. 1 elementary and 1 middle will stay virtual. Our 2nd grader and our 9th grader will return to in-person. Audrey just got a Thomas Dale t-shirt. Let's go. All right. Hey, Blueberry Limeade, let's send me a message and we can chat offline. You're asking great questions. Some deep stuff. A little too deep for our live session. All right. You will adapt it. Nice. Awesome. All right. I'm going to hop back over here on Facebook. I'm not seeing anything pop in on YouTube. All right. When are we going to receive info about purchasing cap and gowns? I have not received anything. So Chris Ann Mays, we've already done our rounds of in-person appointments with Herff Jones. Their staff is not going to schedule any more. Matter of fact, I just pushed it out on social media yesterday. So Chris Ann Mays, if you look at, I posted yesterday, and I know you're on Facebook because you're on Facebook right now. Go back to my post yesterday about Herff Jones. There's a flyer in there with where to go. to get your online orders for caps and gowns. They're not going to do any more in-person appointments. I think we ran a total of like 5 days. We set up 2, and then we set up more, and then we set up another day and another day. So they're not going to do any more in-person appointments. Just check out the post that I posted yesterday, as a matter of fact, with the Herff Jones website information that you'll need to order cap and gowns for Thomas Dale. Stacy Woodell, will it be in-person teaching as in a regular school day, or will it be like the hybrid where they just sit in class and watch the class being taught on their Chromebook? So I don't know that yet, Stacy. That's what I'm getting feedback from our faculty and staff. We got 46 teachers working on this. I meet with 21 students today, and then I'm going to reach out to parents for a small focus group as well. I just haven't moved on that. I needed to get my ducks in a row with kids and faculty and staff to get a better idea. I think some of that is predicated on our return date, and then some of that is predicated on the impact it will have on our kids and the impact it has on our teachers. So more to come. I'm not in a position to make a promise yet on what exactly it's going to look like. This is definitely something, because we learned a lot when we did hybrid, and so I want to be able to reflect and act on what we learned, because we're going to come back in smarter. All right, Andy Martin, how do we get involved to join the prestigious focus groups? Andy, send me an email just to let me know that you're interested. I will be sending out a quick form that just says, "Hey, I'm interested. Add me to your list," and then it'll be on a Google Meet, much like I did this summer when we were setting expectations. I don't remember if you were a part of that, Andy. I don't remember. Just send me an email, Andy, but then also look out for a sign-up form. All right, I'm going to hop back over to Instagram. Ooh, excuse me. What will graduation look like for those that can't afford a cap and gown? So Blueberry Limeade, if purchasing a cap and gown is an issue, let me know. Just shoot me you can give me a Canvas inbox message, or you can email me so I can put you on a quick list. We do have, students who are unable to afford a cap and gown. We have funds set aside and Herff Jones works with me on being able to take care of that for our students who cannot afford. Last spring, when we needed some donations, our community rallied. I don't remember the total amount, but it was over $1,000 that was donated to our school's ability to pay for caps and gowns. So we were able to put caps and gowns for just over 20 students last year because of the generosity of our community. All right. Ooh, we got some more rolling in. All right. Shalonda Lucas Wilson, I'm on Facebook now. When cohort 4 returns to school, will it be based on last name like before? And will there be another survey? So I'm not sure how I'm going to get the information, but it will not be by last name. It'll be, if you select in person, you're coming 5 days, regardless of your last name. Once we have a timeline for return, that's when I'll be soliciting that information from our families as to whether their children will stay virtual or come in person. Taryn Davis, what is the prestigious focus group? I think prestigious was just a fun adjective that she put on it. But we had, based on the changes, it has implications for what things look like at Thomas Dale. And so I'm getting feedback. We've got 46 faculty and staff members working in a document. I meet with 21 students today as a focus group. And then I'm going to reach out to parents on a focus group to figure out what some of these changes mean. How do we roll out the cameras on expectation? What do we want our in-person to look like while we also have our students who are going to remain virtual? Because I really don't know the numbers. If I had to guess, we're probably going to be about 50-50. I do think our families who did the hybrid learned something that either confirmed what they needed or said, you know what, okay, I was wrong. I want to switch. So there's a lot of information that I don't know, that I won't be able to answer, that I'm trying to get feedback from all of our stakeholders. So, faculty, staff, students, and then of course families. So it's not prestigious. It's just anyone who wants to give me feedback in a focus group setting, I'll be reaching out to get information on who's interested. I'll probably send that out sometime today. I'm looking at my calendar, my schedule. Woo, it's packed. So I'll try to get that out. All right. All right. We're looking pretty good. Doing all right. Good morning, everyone. All three people on YouTube. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the live chat. I'm monitoring all three. I've got my camera for YouTube here, but I've got you on my screen. I've got one of my phones with Facebook and another phone with Instagram. If I had another device, I'd be on TikTok live right now too. All right. Is the schedule, I'm looking at Instagram now, is the schedule in the emails or online? We just started a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, if you, so every time I send an email, I also attach an updated version of what we're calling the Ultimate Guide. So if you check out the Ultimate Guide, our bell schedule is actually in there. And I'm assuming that's what schedule you're talking about, like the schedule of the day. I don't think I'm fast enough to be able to drop it in the comments here to give it to you right away. If you have any issues finding it, send me an email and I'll get it right to you. I miss Dale. I'm on CCPS Online. Blueberry Limeade. We miss you too. All right. When do we make the decision on virtual or in person? This is Lori West. I'm unsure yet. We don't have a timeline for return. Once we have a timeline for return, I do think that date will be given to me. So I'll communicate that. We'll most likely learn together when that decision deadline is going to be. So right now there is no timeline. We're assuming that it's going to be sometime during the third 9 weeks because that's what was shared, communicated, and voted on by our school board. Taryn Davis, is there anything us parents can help with? No, I think, it's a great question. I mean, definitive, nothing. I think just continuing to support your child through this, continuing to support each other, continuing to keep yourself, keep your own bucket full. We talk a lot about self-care. We use the analogy that on an airline, they tell you to put your own mask on before you put somebody else's mask on. It's just, keep yourself, keep caring for yourself, keep caring for your child, and then continue to tune in. And as you get that information, stay engaged, stay informed, stay empowered. I think some of the things that we're trying to do as a school that we need community stakeholders, we need families. I mean, our genius hours, when you see a call for a genius hour, if you've got a genius you want to share, we're doing our first live genius hour today at 10 o'clock. We did post a bunch of short videos so students can kind of almost like a catalog, but we can always use more genius hours. Pretty soon, we're going to be soliciting offers to host for our job shadow. Our job shadow day is going to look a little different this year. We're going to connect our students. Our juniors is who we target for Job Shadow Day. We'll connect our juniors with partners, and we'll ask our partners to pick any day and to give up an hour where they meet with students for that hour to really talk about what does a typical day look like in my career field, my job? How did I prepare for it? What are some things that I wish I knew coming in, or I wish I would have been able to do before I did? And just really, I think harnessing the situation and what we've learned about, virtual connection to actually make Job Shadow Day better, because instead of having it on one day, we're actually going to be able to have it offered on multiple days based on availability of our employers who are willing to host a student or a group of students for an hour to talk about their career field and their job. All right. Stay positive. That's how you help. Awesome, Blueberry Limeade. All right. Good morning. For those of you who are just now joining, I mean, people are coming in and out, which is perfectly fine. If you've got a question that you want to ask, that's what I'm here for. I'm not going to make you stay any longer. I don't want you to feel like you're missing out on anything. So if there are, I'll stay on for a couple minutes, a couple of extra minutes. I did carve out an hour of my schedule. So if the questions keep coming, I'll be here till 8. If they don't, then I'll sign out and we can all have a great Wednesday. I'm just so appreciative of everyone who's tuned in this morning, hopping in and out, joining me, whether it's over a cup of Joe, a breakfast, or, just you rolled out of bed, you turned it on, and you rolled back into bed. Not sure. Mr. Nigro, Miss Watts, not to pick favorites, but those were the best teachers. Awesome. I'll make sure they hear the shout out they got on Instagram this morning. That's right, Mrs. Richardson. She got married this year. All right. If there are no other questions, I don't see anything on YouTube. We've slowed down on Facebook, on Instagram as well. I want you to have an awesome day. My challenge to everyone in the Thomasdale community is to lift others up, because we see so much in the world right now where people are tearing each other down, and we all need to lift each other up. This is crazy times. Everyone needs a positive thought. Everyone needs to be uplifted, and even you. So this is me uplifting you to have I've got some more questions coming in on Facebook. So I was getting ready to give you my uplifting goodbye, but I'm going to keep on rocking it. So our students, Shalonda Lucas Wilson, are students able to change classes once they choose? My son is still unsure. So I have no idea. That's another thing that I can't promise, whether or not we're going to stay locked into our classes are scheduled. I want to avoid blowing up a kid's schedule, especially, we're over halfway into the year. There might only be, a couple of months left in the school year once we turn in person. What our school decides as our faculty and staff, these 3 focus groups I'm talking about, what that input that I get, ultimately it's my decision, is what we're going to go with. And it might mean that you don't change. So I will put that out there. Taryn Davis, in this state, does a work permit come from the school for 15-year-old, or do I need to get a work permit? I'm not sure how that works here. I don't know. I feel like I have signed something in the past, but I don't do that often enough. And I know our kids are working at 15. So I'm guessing that if it comes from the school, it's not passing by my office. So Taryn Davis, if you could reach out to your child's counselor, they'll have that information, because I'm not even 100% sure. I don't sign them very often. I do feel like I've signed one before. With 2,400 kids, and this is my 3rd year here, that one is not a lot. So I have to believe that either somebody else is processing it, if it is on a school, or it's not a school thing at all. All right. Let's lift each other up today. Take care of yourself. Remember that you belong, you matter, you are special, you are valued, you are loved, you are cared for. And you definitely have a right to be where you are. Don't ever second guess that, and lean in with your strengths. Have the courage to do and be your very best, no matter what it is that you're doing today. Let today be the day that you are 100% the best version of yourself, and then lift others up as well. So I promise you, when you lift someone else up, no matter how you are or where you are, it will lift you up as well. And so imagine what our community would be like if we focused on lifting each other up. You might notice it. You might see somebody who needs lifting up, and sometimes that's obvious and sometimes it's not. So just assume that somebody needs to be uplifted and do it. I love you. I hope you have a great day. For our parents who are tuning in, tell your children I love them and I miss them. For our students who are tuning in, I love you and I miss you. And let's have an awesome day. Tell your friends that I'll be back on at 7 o'clock tonight. So those who are not early birds, who prefer the evening, I'll be back on these same three platforms tonight at 7 o'clock to do the exact same thing. Have a great day, Thomasdale community. Peace.